Well, hello everyone. This is Robin Carter with Robin's Creations. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Flower Mound, Texas. And today, I got a tickle here of a hair. I'm here to share with you my first set of alternative cards using the September Paper Pumpkin Kit named Autumn Abundance. By the way, I've been told I should say what date this is. Today is Friday, September 20th of 2024. So, that way, in case you watch this in the future, you'll know when this was recorded and when things are relevant. So I also want to thank those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. And I hope you find this video helps you expand your paper pumpkin kit, and you would consider hitting the subscribe button to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any others. I generally have 3 or 4 per kit, so you don't want to miss out on those. All right, let me share some information with you. Be sure and sign up for World Card Making Day. It's coming up soon, and I will put a link in the video description of this YouTube video so that you can hit subscribe to receive to get in on the video recording of that. So it's free to register, so you just need to register. And if you can't watch it when it's live, you can always watch it a little later. They're going to keep it open for a few days for those that can't join the live event. When you register, there'll be a list of products that they recommend you buy if you're going to follow along. Sometimes I watch and then decide if I want to buy the supplies later. I think I already have some on hand, and a few of them are out of stock, but they hope they're getting a new shipment in soon, so be sure and check the online store if that's something that interests you. All right, let me switch to hands down so that I can share with you the next paper pumpkins. All right, I have the flyer here for the next quarter of Paper Pumpkin Kits. It's usually my favorite quarter to be subscribed, and especially this October kit. I'm really looking forward to it. And by the way, if you have never subscribed to Paper Pumpkin, this would be a great one to join or to subscribe, because if you're a new subscriber, you can get 40% off this kit on a month-to-month subscription. You just need to enter the Holiday 40 code that I have printed right there when you sign up. And if you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours, and I'll share some of the perks I offer my subscribers here in just a minute. So this is called Nest of Christmas, and it's going to coordinate with a kit that I'm going to show you soon. Then there's November and December, and then of course a new set of add-on dies. I like this Mary and the tag, and I love this little fern. I guess it's an evergreen leaf. So if you do not have those and you're interested in those, the item number is 165639. All right, but today we're working on the September Autumn Abundance. And by the way, here are the add-on dies that were for this past quarter, and the item number is 164991. I have used all of these, and every quarter I love using the add-on dies, so I really hope they keep that up in 2025. All right, so going on now is the new mini catalog, and I'm going to share with you that in October, this Nest of Winter is what's going to coordinate. Now, I think given that it was just free shipping day this week, this stuff is currently unavailable. But again, this is for the October kit, so it should be back in. And if you're interested in that, you could get in on that. And I have that set. I got it before free shipping day. Of course, I always order and then later. But I love that it's a cling stamp set. As you see, it's brand new. I haven't even used it yet. And so I love the cling. It gives such detail, all of that. And then, of course, there's coordinating dies to go with that. And then there's an embossing folder. And I have the embossing folder right here. It's called Birch. And I think I have one. Here's one where I embossed a piece. So you can see that it gives a nice wood grain look for that. So if you're interested in those products, you can find them on the online store or on page 31 of the mini catalog. So the bundle, let me get that number for you, is bundle right here, 164066. So you may just want to jot that down. And the embossing folder is 164069, and the designer series paper is gorgeous. Let me just tell you, I showed a preview of the top page in my last unboxing video, and I just love it. It is 164183. So when those come back in stock, be sure and grab those up if you want to expand your kit using the coordinating supplies. Okay, a little bit more business. This is what I offer to my Paper Pumpkin subscribers. It's a little sleeve so they can store their stamps in, as well as a 1-inch square of coordinating cardstock so they can write it and store their ink spots upside down so the ink is always on top. All right, so we're going to work on this kit today, and I'm going to start with this card base. Now mine does have a little, I don't know, something there. I'm not concerned about that. I'll just cover it up when we get to it. I already have some stuff cut. Actually, let me put, this is what I call my favorite things, and I'll get to that as we go along. It stores my stuff nicely versus the big thick box. All right, so we're going to start with this card base, and I thought it would be nice to cut this into thirds and use it in a card front. So when you do that, you want to cut at like 275. And then you're left with like 2 5/8 left. And so you want to cut from this side and this side. And I'll give you some tips of how to get rid of this score line as we go along. So I have already pre-cut one. So I want to make those along with you. I'm being brave. I don't have one done already. I just have all the components cut. All right, so let's start with one side. All right. All right, so you're going to need a thick white card base, and then I have an embossed layer on here already. You're going to need a piece of Cajun craze that's about 1/4 of an inch bigger, wider than your cut piece, and 5 3/8 that way. So here's my cut envelope piece, and this one looks like it's 2 7/8. So this is 2 3/8, so that'll layer nicely on there. All right, and then you're going to use things from the kit. So I tried to pull out all the things that were used for this card base. So we're going to use that piece. And then I have stamped and used my cutting machine to make some leaves and the sentiment. Now, if you're familiar with my Etsy shop, I will be putting out the cut file so you can cut blanks and you can stamp them yourself for all the stamps in the this month's kit. It's not out there yet, and I'm going to change the way I do it. I used to list a scan and cut and a SVG, but I'm going to mix those into one file. That way you get both of them and you don't actually accidentally buy the wrong one. So you'll get both and you can just use whichever file works for your cutting machine. So I hope that helps everybody with that. So let's get started. This one's going to be pretty quick and easy to put together because I already have it pre-cut. So we're going to adhere this right onto this Cajun craze piece. And again, this one was cut at 2 7/8. So my layer is 3 1/8 wide, and both of them are 5 3/8 tall. All right, so let's get my multi-purpose glue, and this is in one of my favorite things, which are things that Stampin' Up! Does not sell that I find helpful in organizing my craft supplies. So you're going to see several things as we go along. This is what I store my card components in. It's about 5 by 7. And the other one is almost 10 by 7, I think, that stores my Paper Pumpkin supplies rather than the box. Okay, so we have that together. And I'm going to adhere this here. Now this card already has a embossed layer on it, and that is from the So Swirly embossing folder. It's not a 3D, which with a non-3D, you'll run it through your die cut machine with 2 clear plates, one on the bottom, one on the top. So that's how you run that. I found this kind of looked like a wood grain. It could also be a water. But since we're covering up most of it, I found the birch didn't give enough detail on the sides. So I thought this gave a little more detail, and you can use your imagination and pretend that it's like wood grain. See? All right, so let's adhere that straight down. Okay, and I'm going to do this one in the middle. Just best I can in the middle. And sometimes your grid sheet, which you have a ruler in your kit, on the instructions, that if you don't have a ruler handy, that you can adhere that down, trying to get in the center best you can. Okay, now this little piece, I'm going to put like this just to cover up more of that blank area. All right, so let's use a glue dot for that. I have just some, I use them as I go along. These weren't the ones we necessarily received in our kit. And I love to use the take your pick tool to get these glue dots on here. It makes it a lot less fussy. You can just pick it up, put one. I'm going to put one on each leaf just because they're kind of fragile and you don't want them to bend when you stick them in your envelope. By the way, back to my favorite things while I take this time to put these on and take off the glue dots. So I am an Amazon affiliate, which means when you use the links to purchase these products, which are in the video description of this box, I get a few pennies back at no cost to you for recommending these products. So if you've used those in the past or plan to use those in the future, thank you so much for supporting me with that. And so there's a whole list of things in the video description box. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put that somewhere here. And I'm okay with that hanging off. And then I have my sentiment, which, like I said, was cut with one of my cut files. Whoops, and I already have a dimensional on it. And I'm going to put that right in the center of the leaves here. Okay, and then I have two leaves that I have pre-stamped with one of my cut file images. And I went with this leaf because it most matches the leaves here. So we're just going to add a few leaves so that we can say we stamped more. And just, it doesn't really matter. Just put them where you like. And I'm going to put this one up here, coming in like those leaves. Okay, so there is one of the 3 cards we're going to make. What do you think about that? So I'm going to put this in here. Oh, and I stamped that with early espresso. I didn't share that. I kind of like a dark sentiment to stand out. But you'll see on my others, I did use the copper plate in the kit. All right, so let's get to the second one. Oh, I have a special different background on this one. So you're going to need a thick white card base. And then I did a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 layer. And I die cut a whole bunch of the leaves from our add-on dies. And I added those to the side. Rather than embossing, where it's going to have the embossed look almost. So I hope you like that. And by the way, you just kind of glue them around. And if any stick off, use your snips and just go along the cardstock so that it is square. Okay, again, we're going to use one of our thirds. I believe this is the other side of the leaves. And I really like how that looks. What do you guys think? I thought that was a good way to use the add-on dies. You get it a little closer and you can see the leaves along the side. So let's adhere this layer down with our multi-purpose glue. I think I cut about 8 or 9 leaves that are on the sides. And you just need to do the sides because this piece is going to cover up the center. Oh, I forgot to feel which one was bigger. Well, it's the other side, of course, but I already have glue, so I might go trim off the back a little bit more so that the front is, they're equal. So what I mean by that, in case you're new, so when you make your own card bases, one side, you can see on this card, it's the back. I really should have put my stuff on the front. That way it's easier for a person to open up the card. So I'll go trim a hair off of this after this video so that it's easier to open this card. That's a mistake, so there's your tip if you mess that up. All right, so I've already adhered the Cajun Craze to this layer like I did the other one. And this was a scrap I had punched a square out of to put on my ink spot. So just a little square out of there is fine, and no one's going to know it's there but you and I. All right, so let's glue this down. Okay. Right in the center. What do you guys think about the idea of using the leaf die to make a background with? Let's see if that's kind of in the center. Looks pretty good. So let's rub the adhesive around on that. That just helps the adhesive to rub all around. All right, so again, I brought in the same sentiment, and then meant to make on these cards was this leaf in our kit. So I'm going to help fill in this blank area there, and I have a leaf to add somewhere along here and the sentiment. Now I probably really need a third one just to do things in threes, and I don't think I have one stamped. Let me check my little goodie bag. So again, I store all my little goodies. You can see here's the die cut file. I tried doing wild wheat, but it's a totally different color in my brain, and it just didn't work out. I have a green one, but green doesn't really go. I will stamp a yellow one later and add to this card, probably over here. And so you'll just check out my still pictures. It's on the video title, and you can see that. I just like doing things in thirds. They say that's more appealing to the eye. Okay, so this little guy, he is very fragile. So let's put some glue dots on him so that he doesn't get torn when you're putting your cards in an envelope. I may need a little one for that. I do have different sizes just because we get different sizes in the kits. It's kind of interesting. Let me dig in my little bucket here for some tiny ones. There's one. For this leaf. Okay. By the way, this is not on my favorite things, but this is like a little crayon box that's in the school supplies section, and I find it's handy to store embellishments or glue dots, things like that. And you can put the lid on. I mean, I love it. I guess I could see if Amazon has those. I don't know. I think it's called a crayon box. Now you could get these backings off with your take your pick tool. I have natural nails that work pretty well. All right, so I want this to go, and I'm going to put my sentiment over it. So don't make it hang off the card so it doesn't get caught. And then we can put our sentiment down just like that. Now, I haven't added any embellishments yet, but I also want to point out, I believe the foiling on this is champagne, and I think these are still available. They're called the Metallic Enamel Effects Basics, and there's a copper, a silver, and a gold. So I may try to add some of these later. Again, this number is 161610. I should have looked at that ahead of time. You know, let's just try a few so you can see what to do. And I'll have to set this way aside because it'll have to dry. So you just squeeze and lift off. Okay, and let's put one here for 3. Okay, and you may have a little, I call it a pucker, where you lift it off. And one thing that helps flatten it is just, see there, those flattened out more. So just tap it on your hands. And so there's some, again, you can have little dots for days with this bottle. So I'm going to set that one way aside, back behind me, so that I don't smear that, okay? So there's a little tip if you have these or want to add these. Again, you can have little dots for days. All right, so I'm down to my last third card. Oh, I just pulled out. Also, I haven't put this out yet, but I'm going to have a cut file for the Shepherd's Care. I love this set, and you can see the little shepherd. I've already stamped him. I almost have this one ready, but free shipping came day came, and then of course my printer died, so I was very sad. I loved that printer, but I've had it for years and years and years, probably more like 15 years. So we got our useful life out of it, and I have a new one in. There's some things I like, some things I don't, but of course that one's so old they don't make it anymore. All right, back to the cards. So we have a thick white card base. I put the more long one up top so I wouldn't forget. Again, I'm going to use that So Swirly embossing folder. And then I have my my Cajun Craze piece. And then I have the centerpiece. Now this centerpiece will have a score line down it. I happen to have the subtle 3D, or I think it's a dynamic one, back when they had dynamic embossing folder. Now, if you don't have that, what I have seen is if you get 2 clear plates, all right, and you want them to be new so they don't have a lot of etching, or it'll put etching on your piece, run it through your embossing folder several times with the clear plate on the bottom and top of your die cut machine, and it should help flatten out that score line enough where it's not that visible. Also, if you have any I think like the Tasteful Textile embossing folder that was available a while back, I think that would work well to help cover that score line. All right, so let's add this. To the Cajun Craze piece. So we're going to get 3 from one card base. So you could make 9 because there's 3 of these. I'm going to not make another set yet in case I have an idea of another alternative. I just love these leaves. I think they're very pretty. I should have put the, you know what, let me just take that off. Obviously I didn't get enough glue. Did I do any glue? Oh, no, I just did that one. I am losing my brain here. Okay, let's put this on. I'm going to decide which way. I think I want this side down. All right. Try to get that. I love the multi-purpose glue because it gives me a little wiggle time before it dries that I can adhere that down. Okay, and now we're going to do this one. I'm just going to grab the bigger bottle because when you're adhering on a embossed layer, sometimes you need a little more glue because it needs to go down into the grooves and stuff to stay there. Let's use my grid paper to look for the center and kind of see side to side. And often just eye it is good enough. Okay, now for this one, I used the label that came in the kit, and I did stamp in Cajun Craze for this one, just to use that. So also I brought in a leaf. Again, I only have one in there. Obviously, I didn't prepare enough leaves. I am going to use the blue one. It's in our kit. And then I have some old retired ribbon. This is from way back. It's called Dusty Durango. There's dots on one side. It's flat on the other. I think it's close enough that I'm going to use that. Now let me give you a tip. If you don't have color, a good thing to do is buy some white ribbon. Stampin' Up! Has a nice little white one that I just ordered. It's not in yet, or I would show you. It's got little frayed edges. And you can take your blends markers and color that the color you want, whichever color of blends you have or need color of ribbon. Okay, that is a good option. Or always just get a white with the gold, silver, or the little iridescent white one. That one would work well. So those are tips. I know a lot of you probably don't have this ribbon, but I just wanted to give you a tip. You could also put a piece of cardstock across if you prefer that. I think it just helps break up all this white area. And I can see I messed up. See, I didn't adhere that down first. So we're going to have to do some surgery here. And I'm going to try to adhere this down in here with a glue dot or something. All right, so here's your tip. If you glued it down, and oh no, I didn't stick that under there. So I'm going to put the ribbon, or the dot, I'm going to put it on the bottom, on each end, a glue dot. Okay, and then we're going to work the best we can to adhere it down under there. So hopefully you can pick it up a little bit. Press. And then we've got a long way to go over here. So let's see if it comes up fairly easy. Do you guys love when I make mistakes? I really don't like making mistakes, but it's fun to show you. I keep my videos real so that you know what to do if you make a boo-boo like I did. All right, so I've got a little ribbon fraying there, and I'll just trim that off. So put your ribbon around before you put that on. I knew I'd forget something in one of the cards. Is that straight enough? I think that's pretty good. All right, and if you need to re-adhere that down, you can. I'm going to use a glue dot just so I can get it down in there. To go off the table. And the hardest part's, okay, getting the backing. All right, so that'll help glue that down. So no one will know we messed that up. So there you go. All right, this one I'm going to put on dimensionals, this blue leaf, as well as my copper leaf. And you can decide kind of where you want that. Maybe over here and here. We'll go like that. It really doesn't matter. So this way I've used all the pieces meant for, I think, one card. One of those other pieces may have been meant for another, but I'm trying to use all of the kits up. Even though I make alternatives, I'm trying to use all the pieces. This is going to go on dimensionals as well. Okay, and my sentiment is going to go on with dimensionals. Then I have one thing I want to show you guys. I don't know if I'm going to, I would love to incorporate it into this month's kit. Okay, and again, I may go through and do some of those copper drops like I did the other card, but I'm going to leave that off for now. I want to share with you guys this Frosted Forest bundle. Now, it's a bundle that includes dies, masks, and a stamp set. And look at these trees. This one's my favorite for fall. So is this one. This one, I don't know. I tried using the, what's that called? Wild wheat, and then copper clay, I think, on top. I think it's just two different of colors. So anyway, I love this little thing. I'm going to try to incorporate it in an alternate, but it hasn't come to me how it's going to work yet. I may not, but I wanted to share this with you. It's so easy to color with those masks, and it makes beautiful trees. And then for next month, it has like little Christmas tree types. So who knows? It may not come out till next month. So thanks for joining me today, everyone. Again, if you've liked this video, the best compliment you can give me, let me switch back to me. I forget to do that a lot. Okay. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoy these alternatives. I'm still spinning the brain wheels of more alternatives that I'll probably bring to you early next week. So again, be sure to subscribe. And the best compliment you can give me is a thumbs up for this video. Share it with your other paper crafting friends and leave me a kind comment. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. And if you don't have your kit, hopefully you will get yours soon. So until my next video, everyone, have a great day. Bye-bye.